Ashley, guess what I got started on today?
What?
Riker's Words of Delight for my Bible as a Story summer class.
How fun.
Guess what
I
I
love
got
that
started
class.
on today?
What?
The original Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, working hard or hardly working, eh? Welcome to Expert Difficulty. I am Zach. I'm joined with Connor, Ashley, and Caden. And today we are doing part 2 of our Persona 5 series with Connor as our teacher. You'll notice as you're watching this that we already have our complete boards, 2 of them to be exact. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a technical difficulty on my end. All of the footage is completely lost to time. The only things that were salvaged were these 2 boards, and might I say they are beautiful boards. As a team, since we're all in this together, I thought we could go through the ending of the story, what the boards cover. Connor, you're still leading us, but we have evidence to show that we know what we're talking about. Let's jump in where we began last time, which is the Hawaii field trip. We'll see how fast we roll along.
The group goes to Hawaii for a school field trip because...
As every school does.
Getting blazed in the tropics.
Not all of them. Only the Shujin students, which is Akira, Ryuji, An, and Makoto. Yusuke ends up in Hawaii, and so now all we're missing is Futaba and Morgana. And so they enter a Big Bang Burger. Big Bang Burger is a food chain very similar to McDonald's. You can see the golden arches there on the right. Originated in Japan thanks to a man by the name of Okumura.
If we made the comparison that Okumura is Elon Musk, does that make Haru EA or A12, whatever that is?
XAE12, come get your breakfast.
We meet Haru very briefly, so we know she exists, but she doesn't actually make any meaningful additions to the plot yet.
Okumura is our first palace in the second half of the game.
Morgana decides to leave because he's angry at the party members. The reason would be that he doesn't fit in.
He is the only
Wow.
cat of the group.
He doesn't know his own backstory, and so he's like, I've just been using you guys to get to understand my backstory. I haven't been an actual phantom thief. He leaves, enters the palace by himself. Someone's following right behind him. We don't know who it is. It's Haru. We as the party enter Okumura's palace, and Okumura's palace is a massive
Spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, a space station ship, something similar to that.
Krabby Patty. It's all the same.
The Krabby Patty secret formula. We're trying to find Morgana because we care about the cat. Morgana has teamed up with this mysterious character with a black mask. It's Haru. She just has a black mask, but she is not the black mask that we've been hearing about. We all team back up, and now we have our new party member, and it's Haru, and her codename is Noir. Element is psychic. And
Yes.
also gun. So as we continue through the palace, we get to the boss fight. This is the only boss fight in the game that's timed. The space station is going to self-destruct. Our party escapes the space station. Okumura's shadow gets shot and killed by the mysterious black mask. Okumura's shadow disappears. The camera fades to black, and we return to the real world. Haru's devastated. Goro Akechi pulls everyone aside and says, hey, I need to talk to you guys for a second. He pulls out his phone, and on it are pictures of our party leaving the metaverse.
He's ready to make an accusation.
He says, I know that you're the Phantom Thieves, but for some reason, he's going to make a deal with them. You know the lady Sai Nijima, Makoto's sister. She is corrupt. Akechi is like, I want to steal Sai's heart. I don't know exactly how you do it. I just know that you are able to do it. I want you to teach me how, because I have a persona of my own. As we enter the palace, the massive casino, which if you remember from last episode,
It's the beginning of the game!
It's the beginning of the game! We continue on through the palace, beating the casino at its own game. You end up building up enough tokens to get to the top floor where she is. Beat her in the boss fight.
Now you're getting into the Goro weird execution strategy.
So let me see if I can explain this in one go. Akira and Ryuji go off to find the treasure. Akira takes the briefcase by himself and tries to escape out the main route, letting the rest of the party escape secretly. Everything that you play out through from this point onward is mirrored from the very opening of the game. We return back to present day, where Sai Nijima is interrogating Akira in that interrogation room. Akira looks at his phone, which is on the table next to Sai, and he says, I need you to show Akechi the phone. Hallway is completely empty except for Goro Akechi. Akechi is there to interrogate Akira as well, not with the same intentions. Sai says, does this phone look familiar? And he goes, the phone? Suddenly he gets a slight headache and the screen turns purple briefly, and he goes, doesn't look familiar to me. Akechi continues into the room, pulls out a pistol with a silencer, and kills Akira. Sai Nijima gets a call and is told that she needs to go back to the interrogation cell and to grab Akira and get out of the building. She does so and finds that Akira is still alive. Sai Nijima takes Akira back to LeBlanc where the entire party is waiting, and that's where they explain the rest of what happened. Akechi had been to the metaverse long before he'd told us he had been. Before they entered Nijima's palace, Akechi pulled out his phone and was trading contact information with other people. Futaba yoinked his phone because she's awkward and quirky. She was planting a bug on his phone. We find out that Akechi and Shido have been working together since the very beginning and causing these strings of mental shutdowns. They were planning on killing Akira from the start. Without Akechi knowing, they enter the metaverse and study this cell. Here's how it goes down in the present time. As soon as the phones are close enough, Futaba remotely activates the metanav and sends Sai Nijima and Goro Akechi into Sai Nijima's palace, leaving Akira by himself in the real world. Goro Akechi enters the cell. Akira is sitting there because Sai Nijima just saw him sitting there. That's why he still exists in that chair. Akechi kills the cognitive Akira. As they pass each other, they both return to the real world.
So neither of them realized they ever went into the metaverse.
Sai Nijima walks in to the interrogation cell and sees that Akira is still sitting there, grabs him, and walks out. Akechi has told everyone that the leader of the Phantom Thieves has killed himself. No coroner, no police officer, nobody bothered to check.
Celebrities can't lie.
We try to figure out who this guy is that set up Akira or that wanted Akira dead. His name is Masayoshi Shido, and I believe this is where we start on the next page.
Yes.
He has been involved in every single incident from the very beginning of the game. The way Okumura died, that was an execution via mental shutdown set up by Shido and the Black Mask, the Black Mask is Goro Akechi.
I knew it.
If you couldn't tell already, if it wasn't obvious, I mean, Akechi killed us. He's a metaverse user. He has to be the Black Mask. Get transported onto a massive, almost Titanic-sized ship. Shido's palace is the worst palace in the game because, as you can see, rat maze. There are 5 rat mazes, and they're all terrible. When you're in certain areas of the map, you will be turned literally into a rat.
Like rat size or like human size rat features.
The point of the rat maze is that you actually are able to fit into smaller vents and explore different parts of the map using those vents, and you have to figure out where to go and how to deactivate the statues and then reactivate them to get to certain portions. It's a whole hassle and it's not fun.
Are the Phantom Thieves choosing to become rats to like navigate the ship, or is it like an effect that happens to them?
It's an effect that happens to them.
Shido's got weird palace vibes. Shido's palace sounded more like a Mario Party 7 board than a Persona 5 dungeon.
Akechi enters Shido's palace to kill you because he found out somehow that you're still alive. He's been working with Shido this whole time because A, Akechi is the bastard child of Shido.
The plot thickens.
And B, once Shido takes the prime ministry, Akechi is going to kill Shido. He starts the boss fight with Robin Hood. You find out that he has another ability, not persona, another ability that allows him to make people go psychotic. Then find out that Akechi has a different persona. He changes from that white garb and the long red-nosed mask into a completely black outfit with a black mask. And his persona that he calls upon is Loki, the god of mischief. He makes himself go psychotic.
I made a little note at the bottom that Goro Akechi is light Yagami. And like, I feel like it's proving to be more and more true. I know Goro is like just a kid. Like he's the same as all the Phantom Thieves, but he's legitimately too dangerous to be left alive.
His avatar actually looks like Light as well. Oh, wow. He's got the like long sort of brown hair.
So it was intentional.
I know my next cosplay.
He's like, why do you have your friends? Your friends helped you in everything, and why am I alone? I had to do everything myself. My parents never loved me.
Press X to doubt.
Another plot twist. Shido's cognitive representation of Akechi appears, puts a gun against the real Akechi's head. Shido is constantly thinking that after he takes the prime ministry, he's going to have Akechi executed.
It's almost like a failsafe because Shido already had a plan to kill Akechi after everything was said and done.
Goro Akechi is killed. We continue to fight Shido. Shido goes on public television to atone for his sins. He is taken into a mental institute. Those people that work for him still want Shido to do Shido things. They send out police forces to find the Phantom Thieves and capture them once and for all. And so Morgana's like, we've been focusing on individual people for far too long. What if we focus on the general populace? Mementos. We need to change the heart of the world. When you reach the bottom of Mementos, you find this giant flesh door, which flesh door deeper further. The way that this is created, you can only go in, but there's no way back out. All of the people of Shibuya have their own shadow in Mementos, but they're not wanting to escape. They don't want to think for themselves, so they've given up their free will for safety, thus causing the sin of sloth.
Giant sloths appear and your party is killed.
At one point you reach this giant metal door and Morgana says, "This is where I was born. I don't know why, but I was created here in Mementos. I guess I'm not human after all." You reach what looks like a massive 3-story tall Holy Grail. Everyone's like, this is the treasure of Mementos. The Holy Grail starts to speak. "Nobody wants you here. Everyone is fine the way they are. Go away." Holy Grail sends you back to the real world. Pieces of bone and sort of fleshy matter start to erupt from the ground. You are being forgotten in the real world and in Mementos. There is no place for you to exist.
Oh no.
Thanos snap.
Waifu on? No.
Akira wakes up in the Velvet Room, where he is met with Igor. "Well, you didn't do your job. Ruin ensued. You didn't complete your rehabilitation. Guess you have to be executed." That's not the real Igor. Igor starts floating into the air like, a very menacing boss. Igor has been the Holy Grail all along. The real Igor and the Holy Grail set up a game where the Igor would pick a trickster, Akira, and the Holy Grail would pick a trickster of their own, Akechi. The Holy Grail wanted to ensure his victory, so he took over Igor's mind. And with the last of his remaining consciousness, Igor created Morgana. Morgana would seek out Akira, bring him to the metaverse, and defeat the Holy Grail once and for all. The Holy Grail reveals his true name as Yaldabaoth, the god of control. You fight the Holy Grail and you win. You're like, is it over? The Holy Grail transforms into a 10-story tall, massive beast. Yeah, the real Yaldabaoth.
Calamity Ganon.
He unleashes a devastating attack on the party. And the people of Mementos, in a very anime setting, start cheering on the Phantom Thieves.
Full powers activate.
Arsene evolves into Satanael, which is representative of Lucifer before he fell from heaven. Satanael wields this giant gun and puts it on Yaldabaoth's forehead, and you as Akira pull out your own gun, pull the trigger, Satanael pulls the trigger, and a massive bullet goes clean through Yaldabaoth's head, and there's a giant hole right in his face.
Neutral B to victory.
And so in a very heartfelt ending, you say goodbye to all of your friends, and you go to sleep for the night. And in the morning, you wake up ready to return home. But your friends have a different plan. Rather than you taking the train back home, they've rented a massive van so you can all travel back in style.
Hell yeah. One last ride.
As you and your friends journey into the sunset, the credits roll.
Aww.
That's Persona 5.
Yay.
Yay, Persona 5. Good job, everyone. We got through Persona 5 completely. We've beaten the game.
Is there anything that doesn't make sense about the game that you guys still want to understand?
Yes, what's a persona?
Thank you for watching, everyone.